So let me tell you a story. For the last few months, I've been walking past this construction site. Every time I would go to my rehearsal room, I would see this building. So I would see this being built literally from nothing, from the hole in the ground, until this almost ready, beautiful structure. And what really caught my eye were balconies. Because the builders were building each balcony twice. There would be like this initial draft of the balcony, and it would be rough, simple, out of wood, totally not the real thing. And later they would tore these balconies down to replace them with the real solid balconies. And in my head I was like building or doing anything twice is waste of time. Yeah, then I see these guys just wasting time, and I would be like, why though? These guys, this company, they got a very good reputation. These guys are experts in what they do. So if even people like experts in their field are doing things twice, there has to be something about it. And that realization kind of stuck with me, because aren't we as ourselves built twice, maybe 3 times, maybe sometimes 1,000 times? We always want to get it right for the first time in any field that we're trying to succeed in. We're trying to ace that exam. We're trying to get our best gym workouts on our first freaking January of the next year. When we go into any field, we want to already have all the knowledge, and we're rushing things so much. When it comes to building ourselves, when it comes to becoming someone, if it would be career-wise, if it would be spiritually, if it would be in a relationship, if it would be maybe as a mother, as a father, as any figure, as any role in life. But generally, I'm talking mainly about how you truly are, like your authentic self. Because, we all have this first version of us, the one that was shaped by other people. Because we needed to be shaped somehow, otherwise we wouldn't survive. And this first version was created with builders. And these builders were your parents, society, teachers, maybe doctors, anyone who was a authority figure in your life, mainly throughout your childhood. It was the find a good job, it was the be quiet, it was the be nice to others, it was the don't cause any conflict, don't scream, don't cry, man up. These type of things. So take yourself back to that first version. Maybe it's still you, this first version of the belief systems, the narratives, the things you think they're normal. To feel jealous thought when you see someone buying a new car, to feel envy when you see someone talking with your best friend more than you do, when you feel fear when there is a challenge in front of you and you should definitely take it in order to be someone better, but you are so scared and paralyzed. Maybe you're still living the 1.0 version of you, the one that gave you shape, form, all the tools to survive, but it's actually not the real thing. It is just the scaffolding. And you know what scaffolding is for? It's here for you to understand the form, not to become the form. And so when life starts to tear down the first version of you, when you lose a job, when you outgrew a relationship, when you start to question everything that was once normal for you, this is not any kind of failure. This might be actually the construction that's happening. So the first version is like the framework. The second version is the foundation. The first gives you the form, and the second makes you real. And maybe you are in that middle right now where the old scaffolding is falling apart and you start to ask questions like, oh my God, did I choose the right job? Did I choose the right partner? Should I start over? Am I lost? Did I mess up? what happened? Why am I feeling this way? But you're not lost at all. You're just starting to rebuild this new version of you, this solid, real, authentic self. So the only thing that this situation is telling to you right now is to truly trust the process, surrender, and lean in with faith. And believe in yourself. That's important. I know this feeling personally way many more times than I can count. I rebuild myself over and over, and every time I thought that it is exactly the right construction, with the right colors, with the right design, life handed me a hammer again, and I needed to turn one balcony more down. However, when I come back to that building I saw, these balconies out of wood, this draft, it wasn't real. What that means, it needed to be torn down. It needed to be removed so that the guys would put in the real beautiful balcony. So tearing down something that is false is part of building something that's real. Even the builders at the site trust the process. They know what they're doing. They don't build this wooden, crappy balcony and they would be like, oh, that's horrible. What are we gonna do about it? This cannot be like that. Like, it should look different. We know that it should look different. We need to do something about it. And so if we just took the approach of the builder to our lives, like if your life is looking right now like this weird draft of wooden balcony and you're just so confused and disappointed at the same time because it looks horrible, like as if a 5-year-old child would do it, why don't we look at the life like the builder, where we say, well, actually, this is exactly what we need this to look like right now in order to get the beautiful, well-structured building at the end of the process. Because clearly, we are not at the end of the process. We feel no anxiety about the process because that is just how things need to work chronologically in order to not skip anything. No one will care about beautiful golden balconies if we don't have the stairs in the building. So we first need to build slowly the layers of the building. Make maybe some windows, do these details, and then maybe do the balconies. Why am I talking about it in such detail? Because this is literally like our life. Before we can land an amazing job or before we can build something that is meaningful for us, we need to do so many small things that feel so menial, that feel so like they're actually making us slow down. But if we didn't do these things, it would not work. We would need to rebuild it absolutely again. And truly, it was just yesterday that I was thinking about it, but it helped me immensely to kind of understand more the growth. We really can't rush alignment and we can't skip the framework. And when it's time to let go of that old version of that scaffolding, of this version with old narratives and limiting beliefs, we can't cling to it just because it's familiar. You have to trust that something stronger, truer, and more aligned is coming your way and is actually under that scaffolding. And this is also something we talk about in the Alignment Society, where we talk about how to rebuild yourself consciously and how to tear down the old scaffolding without losing the safety and without turning your life all around, but making it step by step through conscious work. And if you're interested in something like that, feel free to check out the description of the YouTube video. There's gonna be a link to it. You can click on it and then it's gonna take you to like the invitation video. And yeah, I'm gonna just explain what we do and you can be one of the founding members of this community that I'm building, and I believe it's gonna be an excellent experience. So that's just a side note. However, if you are in this phase where nothing really feels stable anymore and you're questioning everything, I want you to know this. This is just the beginning of your second build. It's not to be dreaded. It is to be celebrated and to be excited for. So even though right now you might be in a situation where you feel like it's absolutely impossible to get ourselves from the negative state to the positive one. But if you would be that builder, you wouldn't be dreading the process. You wouldn't be anxious about it, like, oh my god, this looks horrible. You would be like, this is exactly where we should be. And I know that they will look amazing. And I know that this is not the end of the process because they don't look amazing yet. Also, how long does it take to build a temporary wooden balcony versus how long it would take you to build a real solid balcony out of more stable material? The real one always takes longer. It requires patience, persistence, and this faith and this knowing of this is just the process. However, this final thing, the second building, it lasts. Even though it wouldn't be second, even though you feel like it's like 31st session of rebuilding yourself, just do it one more time. Because every time this building gets more and more beautiful, more and more sophisticated and more solid. And also the first version of the balcony could have felt like this is not correctly done. It was just a training. Because without the scaffolding or without the provisory balconies, you would never ever really know what the real structure will be in the end. So right now, I want you to truly thank your first version. Thank those borrowed beliefs. Thank those limiting beliefs, those old narratives. Thank every version and every person, every builder that you've ever met in your life that has somehow formed you, because it took you here. Thank the pressure and thank the years you spent trying to fit in, because you now have finally wisdom to become something incredible, authentic. It's something that you built. It's something that took the time. It was a process. You believed in it. You trusted it. You got the patience. You got the desire, and it's absolutely yours. And no one can ever take this from you. So let the old wood fall away and make space for the concrete foundation underneath. That was always the plan. And you might not really know what is going to be the final version, the final plan of your building. But it can be from a little cottage, it can become a huge palace. You never know. So just trust the process with truth, integrity, and self-trust. That's what the second version of you is built from. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay awesome. Bye.